100. There are 21 famous black people whose deaths you were unaware of. They were our idols when we were kids, and we loved seeing them perform on stage. 100. Television and in the spotlight. What if, however, I revealed that many of these dark icons are behind the scenes? 100. Battling a silent but real battle for survival. Their experiences shed light on a side of life that the media frequently disregards. 100. Whether it's dealing with silent hardships or life-threatening illnesses, this goes beyond mere celebrity. Survival, bravery, and the unseen struggles of seemingly unbeatable idols are the themes. Accompany us as we reveal the reality. For more hidden tales, subscribe to Legends of Black Excellence and hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. Washington Dental. Hollywood is only a byword for Dental Washington. 100. For generations to come, he will be remembered as an icon of self-control and greatness. He has been enthralling audiences for almost 40 years, since his birth in 1954, playing characters ranging from heroic soldiers to flawed Annie-Anne, 1989, Malchus 1982, Training Days 2001, and Fences are just a few of his great films. 100. Washington had a reputation for always challenging his body for the purpose of authenticity throughout his career. To illustrate the point, 100. He frequently put his long-term health at risk in pursuit of positions that required drastic weight changes, rigorous training programs, 100 and demanding schedules. Even at 69 years old, he can still feel the effects of his decisions. He used to be so very energetic on set. 100. But his hypertension and cardiovascular problems have made it harder for him to do so. According to reports, 100 he has been had to undergo frequent cardiac exams and meticulously track his blood pressure. This change has been depressing for an unbreakable man. And it has been for his fans who believe their hero was unstoppable as a child. Still, Washington's self-control has always been his strongest suit. 100. No matter how exhausted he was or how fast his heart was beating under intense strain, he never lost command on stage. 100. His colleagues frequently remark on his remarkable composure, which he uses to deliver impactful lines while masking any apparent vulnerabilities. 100. His ability to subtly convey the gravity of a subject without showing his audience any signs of strain has become his signature. 100. We expect so much from our celebrities, but we don't always consider the hard work and sacrifices they put in behind the scenes. His career keeps booming, which is ironic given Washington's struggles. His continued work with younger filmmakers and recent works like The Tragedy of Mekhi Beath 2021 demonstrate that he has no plans to slow down. Still, 100. His admirers have picked up on little shifts, such as a reduction in the number of roles he plays year, a shift towards slower, more deliberate pace, and an emphasis on projects that are important to him rather than on output volume. These choices are more than just aesthetic. 100. In addition to controlling his health, they are about making the most of his remaining screen time. 100. The story's reflection of his off-screen ideology is what adds to its compellingness. The three tenets of faith, discipline, 100, and balance have been recurrent themes in Washington's speeches. He often speaks out against the careless pursuit of celebrity by younger generations. 100. Urging them instead to put their honesty and happiness first. He is a walking example of such wisdom through his own health challenges. 100. His mind and spirit are strong despite his deteriorating physical health. This tells us that true greatness comes from facing adversity head-on. 100. Not running away from it. Fans feel a range of emotions when they watch Denzel Washington on screen today, from admiration to concern. 100. We rejoice in each new job and red carpet appearance, but we also feel the star's vulnerability. 100. I think that is the lesson that most helps people become more human. Our heroes face trials as they age and have to fight wars that we can't see. Judy Garland. 100. Janet Jackson is more than simply Michael Jackson's younger sister. She is an indelible part of music history. She possesses immense strength on her own. Hits like Rhythm Nation 1814, That's the Way Love Goes, and Together Again continue Janet's tradition of redefining pop and R&B since her 1986 debut with Control. She became one of the most influential female musicians of all time with over 100 million records sold, 5 Grammy Awards, 100 and other honors from MTV and Billboard. Her significance extended beyond mere statistics. She came to represent strength, autonomy, and determination. 100 empowering females to fearlessly express themselves via songs. However, Janet has endured a weight that only those close to her know about. And it lies behind her faultless choreography, legendary style, and phenomenal performances. She has been battling a terrible vocal cord illness for years, 100, which has threatened to take away the instrument that catapulted her to international stardom. Unpredictability has crept into my singing, 100, which was formerly a natural flow. Her vocals can be physically and emotionally taxing at times, as they crackle mid-performance, falter at high notes, 100, or fade unexpectedly. This has been extremely painful for someone whose profession was predicated on meticulousness and high standards of quality. 100. Think about the nerves you'd feel if you stepped onto the stage in front of tens of thousands of people. 100. All while millions of people around the world were watching. If you knew that your performance could fail at any moment, would you still be brave enough to do it? Night after night it has been Janet's struggle. Nevertheless, her resolve is unwavering. 100. Those who have followed her global tours know that every performance is meticulously prepared with hours of practice, vocal treatment, breathing exercises, and an exhausting exercise routine. 100. She has spoken publicly about the great pressure she feels to deliver the same faultless Janet that viewers remember from decades ago. 100. There is no way to completely repair injured vocal cords, unlike a broken instrument. Still, she shows unwavering determination by fighting for her craft. She has been under intense scrutiny for decades, which has only made her health problems worse. Everything about Janet's private life has been scrutinized. 100. Starting with the notorious Super Bowl incident of 2004, continuing through her high-profile marriages, and culminating in her motherhood at the age of 50. 100. Nevertheless, she has bravely confronted her vulnerabilities, showing that even legends experience grief and have their flaws. 100. Her unbreakable bond with her audience is the fuel that keeps her going, as Janet has always stated. 100. A performance is about more than just providing entertainment. The point is for her and her admirers to connect through a shared experience, a bonding moment. 100. Despite her vocal struggles, Janet Jackson sings and performs from the depths of her soul, as if to proclaim, 100. I am still here and I am still fighting. Her story is about more than just fame and survival. A story of perseverance in the face of adversity. 100, which has inspired millions. The fact that she was able to stand on stage, damaged yet vulnerable, 100, and give her everything for the love of music is a testament to her greatness, not her perfection. Jackson, Samuel L. 100. Jackson ranks high among Hollywood's A-listers, someone who exudes authority and whose voice seems like it might sever steel. His rise from poor New York actor to one of the highest-grossing performers of all time is legendary. He was born in 1948. His films include Pulp Fiction, Django Unchained, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe's Nick Fury, among many more. His passion, adaptability, 100, and dogged persistence have brought him great renown. A man who has overcome insurmountable odds has an unbreakable facade, yet his real-life struggles outweigh his on-screen personas. Jackson fell into a deadly addiction cycle in the 70s and 80s. 100. Before he became famous all over the world, his professional and personal life were both jeopardized by his addiction to cocaine and alcohol. 100. He was eventually coerced into recovery after an intervention by his family. That choice was a watershed moment. It prevented his untimely demise and paved the way for his eventual fame. In the 1990s, after he got sober, Jackson became a role model for others and his career took off. But the wounds that addiction inflicts are permanent. Now in his mid-70s, 100, Jackson freely acknowledges that his health suffered due to the years of abuse. 100, he has to keep a close eye on his heart health and general stamina, because he is exhausted all the time. The demands of film sets are high, 100, and he has to contend with the fact that his body can't take as much abuse as it used to, all of which are made worse by his advanced years. 100. Illness and old age are not going to define Jackson. Following rigorous diets, getting frequent exams, 100, and adhering to disciplined behaviors he developed during his addiction rehabilitation have all contributed to his diligent approach to his health routines. 100. By not giving up, he hopes to not only prolong his career, but also serve as an inspiration to those entering the field after him. 100. He often says that choosing life when death was imminent was more important than fame or fortune. 100. Despite taking time off from filming every so often for health reasons, Jackson is still very much in demand. Every appearance is significant. 100. Even though audiences may not notice as many parts as during his prime, his undeniable genius is on full display with each of his performances. 100. Talent is only one aspect of his narrative. The story demonstrates the power of perseverance and the ability to rise above adversity. 100. Serving as an inspiration to countless people. In addition to being a teacher, Samuel L. Jackson is a survivor. He shows us that facing our fears, 100, embracing our wounds, and continuing to move forward bravely are more important than trying to avoid failing altogether if we want to achieve greatness. Fans see more to his life than just entertainment. It illustrates the resilience of the human spirit by overcoming adversity. Splashy Goldberg, 100. There aren't many performers like Whoopi Goldberg who can be considered true pioneers in their field. Karen Elaine Johnson was born in New York City in 1955. 100. She became the second black woman to ever win an Oscar for acting in 1991 for Ghost. Her rise from humble origins was remarkable. Among Goldberg's many accolades are Emmys, Grammys, Oscars, Tonys, and EGOT, all for her extraordinary career. 100. Achieving this is something that very few performers have done. Her decades-long career in television, comedy, 100, and humanitarian causes propelled her to stardom, and she became known for her stunning performances in films like 1985's The Color Purple, 100, for which she received an Academy Award nomination as well as for her work in other mediums. Goldberg is known for her advocacy, humor, and wit, 100, but she has also overcome a severe health crisis that almost took her life. Her surprise departure from The View, the daytime chat show she co-hosted for many years, shocked fans in early 2019. Months later, she came back to confess the terrible truth. 100. Putting an end to the rumors. Her case of pneumonia rapidly progressed into sepsis when she caught it in both lungs. 100. The doctors warned her that her life was in imminent danger. With her voice quivering, she said, 100, I nearly left this earth. As she recounted the harrowing experience, she had difficulty breathing for weeks, night after night. 100, she battled against sleep deprivation and terror, never knowing whether she would awaken. Healing was a painful ordeal. 100. Goldberg still needed months of rest and oxygen support. After she left the hospital, her once strong voice became more subdued. 100. Both her physical strength and her frequency of appearances on film declined. Even legendary figures may be defeated. 100, which was a sobering realization for someone who had always exuded strength. Would you have been brave enough to let millions of people in on such a personal moment like she did? 100. Goldberg continued to refuse to let her condition define her despite these obstacles. 100. Viewers remembered her not as the unbreakable icon they had known all along, but as a survivor. 100. She made the courageous decision to be upfront and honest about her health issue in order to bring attention to pneumonia and the significance of being alert to warning symptoms. 100. She did this to show her admirers that even a day of disregarding health can lead to fatal outcomes, turning her personal struggle into a public lesson. 100. There is a strong connection between Goldberg's activism and her experience. She has long utilized her fame to promote causes such as racial equality, 100, gender parity, and social justice, in addition to her own sobriety. Her will to live a meaningful life was only enhanced by overcoming pneumonia and sepsis. 100. She came away from the experience with a deeper respect for life and a greater gratitude for the opportunities it presents. 100. Whether it's performing or spending time with loved ones, Whoopi Goldberg's comedy, intelligence, and perseverance continue to motivate people today. 100. Even at the age of 69, she may not be as physically powerful as she once was, but her impact is still felt. Strength she demonstrates, 100, is not the lack of weakness but rather the bravery to confront it directly and persevere. 100. A comeback isn't the only thing that Goldberg's admirers see in her survival. In the face of adversity, it is possible to stand up and be heard. 100. This is the message of this hopeful hymn. Williams, Serena. Tennis great Serena Williams is much more than that. She is unparalleled in her field. 100. A symbol of cultural pride and an unstoppable force in athletics. Serena and her sister Venus, who were both born in 1981 in Saginaw, Michigan, started training at an early age with their father Richard Williams. She was already crowned global champion by 2002. 100. She became one of the all-time greats after winning 23 Grand Slam singles titles during her career, more than any other player during the Open era. She shattered gender and racial barriers with her aggressive attitude, powerful serve, and unbreakable mental toughness, redefining women's tennis. However, Serena has battled health issues that were nearly fatal, which is the dark side of her brilliant career. Alexis Olympio Hayne, Jr., was born to her in September 2017. Instead of being a joyful occasion, it became a horrific nightmare. A pulmonary embolism. 100. A potentially fatal blood clot in the lungs formed shortly after she gave birth. 100. Because Serena knew the signs and symptoms all too well, including her history of blood clots, she insisted on a CT scan, which proved to be life-saving. She fought terrible pain, had trouble breathing for weeks afterwards, and worried she wouldn't make it to see her baby grow up. It was a long and emotional road to recovery. During her time away from tennis, 100. Williams opened up about the traumatic experiences of black women in the United States who face a disproportionate number of difficulties during childbirth. 100. The maternal mortality rate among black women in the U.S. is almost 3 times higher than that of white women, according to statistics. 100. Through her prominence on the court and in the public eye, Serena became an advocate for women's health and brought attention to this issue. It's incredible that someone who is so physically flawless can nonetheless be so vulnerable to serious injury. Serena returned to tennis a few months after the scare, an incredible feat by any standard, and went on to reach 4 Grand Slam finals. 100. Even though she didn't win any more major titles before retiring from professional play in 2022, her return was nevertheless an accomplishment. 100. Proof of her tenacity and resolve, inspiring millions of women around the world. She proved that being a mother and an outstanding athlete are not incompatible. Even outside of tennis, Serena's impact is substantial. 3. She has become an advocate for empowerment, equality, and perseverance while also building businesses and investing in startups. Despite her health problems, 100, she remained powerful. It was boosted. Others who were struggling with their own inner struggles found strength in her willingness to share her vulnerability. 100. Serena Williams continues to be an inspiration for perseverance. Her narrative is one of triumph over adversity and trophy after trophy. 100. Life may try to stifle your genius, but she showed that it's possible to stand up, recover your position, and keep inspiring even when faced with adversity. The scoreboard does not measure Serena's biggest triumph. When all else fails, that's when you prove your strength to the world. Anthony Braxton, 100. Among the musicians of the 90s, Toni Braxton stands out, a vocalist whose velvety contralto could sing everything from low, melancholy whispers to high, soaring power notes. She rose to stardom with her self-titled first album in 1993, after starting her career singing in church after being born in Southern Maryland in 1967. 100. The album was certified triple platinum and won her 3 Grammys, including Best New Artist for its over 10 million global sales. 100. Braxton became the R&B queen who ruled the charts and arenas with her classic songs such as Unbreak My Heart, Breathe Again, and He Wasn't Man Enough. 100. Her music became the soundtrack of a generation. However, her notoriety was not enough to protect her from a tragic diagnosis. 100. Lupus is a long-term autoimmune disorder that targets healthy tissues and organs. Braxton came clean about her battle with the condition in 2010. 100. Excruciating joint pain, unpredictable flare-ups, and chronic exhaustion were the consequences for her. Lupus attacks can happen at any time. 100. She will soon be able to sing with authority. The following day, she was utterly weak. 100. Her doctors cautioned her that organ failure was a genuine concern multiple times as her hospitalizations got more frequent. When asked about her struggles, she said, "Some days I feel like I am going to die, but I keep going." She had to reevaluate her professional strategy, put albums on hold, 100, and cancel tours due to this harsh truth. At the very moment she needed it most, her voice, her strongest instrument, felt weak and waning. 100. Almost intolerable for an artist whose kingdom was founded on stage was the idea of losing her singing voice. 100. Envision yourself performing in front of a crowd of thousands of people as you fear that the first note would cause your body to give out. Can you get the nerve to step foot on that stage even now? Braxton made a brave decision. 100. She used her celebrity to raise awareness of lupus and the health inequities that prevent early diagnosis and treatment for many people. 100, especially black people, to help people understand they were not alone in their struggles. She shared her personal narrative alongside statistics and medical facts. Her story was genuine, emotional, and inspiring, where her tenacity went beyond the realm of music. 100. She proved that her condition could not hinder her artistic abilities by appearing on Braxton Family Values and other television shows. She learned to manage her energy levels and take care of herself so that she could keep creating. Not only does she have a powerful voice, 100, but her fans also appreciate her for her resilience, strength in vulnerability, and ability to channel grief into purpose. It takes vulnerability to be a legend, as Toni Braxton's story demonstrates. Regardless, it's about continuing forward. 100. Her narrative evokes strong emotions and provides hope. An iconic figure who, while facing adversity, rose to the occasion with grace and determination. 100. True talent is not just about hitting notes, it's about having the guts to sing even when you don't feel like it. She's an inspiration to anyone fighting the quiet wars. Angelou. There was more to Maya Angelou than just writing. She spoke with the authority of history and the passion of perseverance. She was a cultural powerhouse. She was born in St. Louis, Missouri in 1928 and had an incredibly courageous life filled with struggle, triumph, and relentless determination. In addition to its artistic merit, her autobiography, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, published in 1969, is revolutionary for the candor with which it addresses racial, gender, and sexual identity concerns. Angelou grew into several roles throughout the years, including that of poet, singer, dancer, actor, activist, and educator. Remarkable Renaissance woman whose words resonated with audiences for decades. When President Bill Clinton took the oath of office in 1993, 100. She read a poem that touched on the rhythm of loss. That is when her status as a national treasure was cemented. 100. Even though Angelou was a public figure of great brilliance, she had private health issues. 100. Serious cardiac and respiratory issues plagued her throughout her twilight years, making even the most basic of everyday tasks a struggle. 100. As her breathing became shallow and her body frequently fought against her want to continue moving forward, long flights, public readings, 100, and stage appearances became exhausting. Refusing to let her illness quiet her, she continued on nonetheless, though she sometimes used a wheelchair. The resounding force of her speech was unmistakable. She kept writing books, giving lectures all around the globe. 100. And mentoring younger artists even as her health deteriorated. Many in the audience felt an almost mystical force in her presence. 100. Even when she was physically feeble, how many of us, when confronted with such anguish, 100, would muster the courage to stand in front of a crowd of thousands and share words of encouragement? Denial was not the driving force behind Angelou's tenacity. The subject was legacy. Even though she was aware that her time on Earth was finite. 100. She dove headfirst into her profession, intent on passing on as much knowledge as she could. Courage, kindness, 100, and perseverance were themes she frequently revisited, a collection of messages derived from her personal life. 100. Poems and speeches were imbued with the sense of urgency that comes from knowing that life is precarious, but that there is significance in each breath. There was a gap in the world of literature activism and worldwide community when she passed away in 2014 at the age of 86. However, 100, she did teach us one last thing in her struggles with disease, that decline does not have to mean a loss of dignity. That despite physical weakness, the human soul can remain strong and radiant. 100. The life of Maya Angelou teaches us that perseverance is just as important as success when it comes to measuring one's greatness. She personified the transformative healing and challenging potential of art. Her words have left an indelible mark on hearts, classrooms, and bookshelves all over the globe. 100. Those who continue to appreciate Maya Angelou's writings and lectures remember her not as a perfect person, but as a strong woman who overcame tremendous adversity. 100. The actress Tracy Morgan. One of the most astute voices in comedy, Tracy Morgan has a lengthy history of recognition. 100. His electrifying performance and hilarious antics left an indelible impression on audiences. Morgan, who was born in the Bronx in 1968, 100 first gained fame in 1996 after establishing himself on the harsh stages of New York City's comedy clubs. 100. His bold delivery and amusing characters made him a fan favorite all over the world. In subsequent years, 100, he had even more success in the character of Tracy Jordan on 30 Rock, which propelled him into television lore and garnered him Emmy nominations. Despite all the joy, Morgan had a tragic event in his life that almost put an end to his voice. Tragically, a Walmart truck collided with Morgan's limo on the New Jersey Turnpike in June 2014. The accident had a devastating impact. Tragically, James McNair, one of his best friends and fellow comics, passed away. A catastrophic head injury, fractured bones in his leg and ribs, 100, and other terrible ailments befell Morgan. He was in a condition of near death for several weeks. Upon awakening, 100, he faced one of the most formidable challenges that lay ahead. Recovery was a nightmare. He lost the ability to walk, speak, 100, and do even the most fundamental motor tasks, all of which the majority of us take for granted. Even moving around was excruciating. 100, and he was still reeling from the emotional toll of his friend's death in the accident. 100. Interviews with reporters revealed that he had doubts about his comedic abilities. It's incredible that Morgan, who once brought joy to everyone's faces, 100, had to endure such excruciating suffering before he could grin again. 100. He was able to recover with the support of his loved ones and months of treatment. He triumphantly returned to the public glare, 100, presenting at the 2015 Emmy Awards, just 1 year after the crash. A strong symbol of perseverance and survival, his appearance elicited a standing ovation. 100. His subsequent hosting comeback to Saturday Night Live demonstrated not only that he retained his comedic chops but also that they had a role in his recovery. Problems have persisted in the years that followed, though he still struggles with the after effects of his injuries and chronic pain. 100. Morgan has found strength in sharing his story to encourage others who are going through tough times. 100. He says the accident taught him to be grateful for every day he gets to perform and made him more appreciative of his loved ones. The comedic work of Tracy Morgan is simply one part of her legacy. The key is to stay alive. 100. He is a symbol of the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. His laughing now holds deeper meaning than just mirth. It exudes optimism. 100. His story shows his audience that faith, perseverance, and resilience can get us through anything. Eddie Murphy is performing. Fame, charisma, 100, and groundbreaking comedy are all things that come to mind when one thinks of Eddie Murphy. The early 1980s saw his meteoric rise to fame as a Saturday Night Live cast member. He was born in Brooklyn, New York in 1961. Murphy became the show's biggest star thanks to his hilarious antics, risk comedy, and convincing impressions. He had an absolutely remarkable 48-hour transition to cinema. 100. He became famous all around the world because to her and the Beverly Hills Cop who traded places with him. 100. He had already established himself as one of Hollywood's most bankable actors and highest-paid comedians by the mid-1980s. 100. He was a legendary talent that changed the face of modern comedy with hits including Shrek Murphy, The Nutty Professor, and Coming to America. 100. But there's a more complicated and sensitive narrative behind the smooth performances and seductive grin. 100. He was sick for a long time because he was under so much pressure to maintain his status in the entertainment world. When he was at the height of his career, 100, Murphy frequently put in long hours juggling filming blockbusters, concerts around the world, and his duties with the media. 100. Concerns regarding long-term health arose when the stress started to show physically, with weight changes and bouts of exhaustion. 100. Hidden fissures beneath the glossy surface were developed by the relentless quest of perfection and the pressures of always being on. As time went on, 100, Murphy's difficulties became increasingly apparent. Fans had grown to expect an endless supply of vitality from the guy. 100, but during public appearances they occasionally saw him fighting fatigue. 100. He has come clean about how difficult it is to maintain his health while playing nonstop. Just picture yourself standing in front of a crowd of millions. 100, expecting to make them laugh, even when your body is beseeching you to take a break. Murphy has demonstrated incredible resiliency in the face of these challenges. In the 2010s, he took a break from the limelight, not to hide. 100, but to focus on his family and health. It turned out to be a game changer. He came back stronger than before. 100, prepared to take back his position in show business on his own terms, after concentrating on health and equilibrium. 100. Critics praised his 2019 performance in Dolomite Is My Name, and audiences who had become tired of him were once again respectful of him after seeing him play. 100. Murphy's narrative delves into the human side of fame and mythology. His ordeal demonstrates how even celestial bodies have hidden struggles. His capacity to persevere, reimagine, and regain his footing exemplifies the essence of resilience. His fans, who formerly saw him solely as a comic force, 100, now see a man who has weathered the storms of fame and is passionate about his work. Beyond his comedic timing and financial success, 100, Eddie Murphy will be remembered for much more. His talent for making people laugh in the face of adversity, both personal and global, is what sets him apart. 100. His story exemplifies how the will to persevere in the face of adversity, rather than the difficulties themselves, makes a person a legend. Dog Pooch. Being born Calvin Cortez Broadus Jr. in 1971, Snoop Dogg has several talents beyond only rapping. His unflinching honesty, West Coast swagger, 100, and silky flow revolutionized hip-hop, and he will be remembered as an icon for it. Unveiled to the globe by Dr. Dre in 1992 with the album The Chronic, Snoop became an immediate hit, He became one of the most popular rappers of all time after his debut album, Doggy Style 1993, sold over 11 million copies worldwide. 100. He has gone through several personas throughout the years, performing as rapper, actor, producer, entrepreneur, and reggae singer Snoop Lion. 100. His capacity to adapt and remain relevant has been demonstrated by his collaborations spanning genres, from Katy Perry to Pharrell Williams. 100. Snoop has suffered from major health problems associated to his lifestyle, despite his laid-back demeanor and icy exterior. 100. He was a hard party animal who smoked a lot of pot and lived a hectic lifestyle during the height of his fame.